Because I only have 3 days until the new year, and it is a tradition of mine that I reset and declutter my entire house before the first of the year so I can start fresh. 2026 is my year of simplicity, of simplifying my life, of making things work more in alignment with what I want my life to look like. 2025 was by far the most challenging year that I have had to date. And so I am going to reset my house, reset my expectations as we move into 2026 so that I can start the year fresh, not only with a fresh, clean space, but also moving into the year more intentionally based on everything that I have learned this year. And we have a lot of exciting things coming up in the new year. So in this video, I want to talk about the things that I learned in 2025 and what I am going to do differently and my goals for 2026 to simplify my life. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Chanel. I am a wife, a mama, a 4A believer, and I wish I had that like good one-liner that I used to have as far as what you can expect from this channel. But to be very honest with you, it's probably going to look very different in 2026 because I am in a year of simplifying and rediscovering or becoming the woman that God has always created me to be. And so really what you're going to find here is just me documenting that journey, documenting the journey of becoming, documenting the ways that I'm simplifying my life, and now allowing the Lord to really guide my steps. And so if any of that sounds interesting to you and you want to follow along, then I would love for you to subscribe and come along with me on this journey, as honestly, I am just figuring it out. Let's first start off by what we're working with, okay? This is obviously not been cleaned up, but here is like our Montessori shelf that I typically use for my younger kids. I will be very honest and tell you that I have not been switching out my shelves like I wanted to on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So this proves to me that this is no longer going to be used for that purpose because it's just not doing what I wanted it to do. This obviously is just an open space. Major hack here. If you ever have a motorized car, put it inside in the winter and the kids will sit in it and pretend to drive it. And it does help distract, especially when you're trying to do homeschooling lessons with your older ones. It really does help. So as y'all can see back here, I have another cube shelf that I put in the closet as I prepared for the new school year. And this is where all of our books live. But I think I just want to move that out so all of the books are out here together. And we got to clean up on Christmas. So I need to take all these books off, put them on the floor, and then I'm going to put them back on the shelves right here. And this is pretty much completely full with books. And I have like 5 more piles of books that we didn't unpack from our original move a year ago. So I'm going to put those, well, we're gonna mix them all together. But I'm already liking the way that this is looking because honestly, we don't have, other than just like getting stuff off the floor, I've already organized the closet with like learning stuff. So there's really not that much more to do. And then this here, I'm just going to put like framed pictures and some of their art, which I don't have right now, but eventually I will. While I'm taking some of these books off, I also wanted to just talk about another lesson that I have learned this year, which is identity. And if any of you have followed this channel for any period of time, you will know that, or you may have started following me because of me being a doula and really teaching and having a passion for birth, which I still 1000% do. But a couple of years ago, the Lord called me to kind of pivot and change some of the things that I was sharing online and become a little bit more vulnerable and more personal with what actually happens in my own personal life behind the scenes. And I was like, okay, Lord, like, okay, I'll do it. And I did that very slowly because I was like, but I love birth. And like, you gave me this gift and this passion and all these things, but he's clearly called me away from that and to transition into doing and serving in a different way. And this year, I learned how much of my identity I tied with my work. And it's not that like there were not really amazing things that happened in my work. I realized once I started to almost be forced, honestly, to make that hard transition in my business, I didn't realize how much I would struggle to really figure out who Chanel was outside of my work as a doula and also as a mom. And this year has been really, really, really difficult in knowing who Chanel is and what Chanel cares about, and that Chanel is worthy outside of these things and these roles and these titles and these business accolades and all the other things. So the lesson in all of that is really learning to stay near and stay in your word. And the more I read my Bible, the more I am in prayer, the more I'm spending time with the Lord and surrounding myself with other people who can uplift me in those same spiritual ways, the better I've gotten towards the end of the year. And I still have so much further to go, but the more I realize who I am in Christ and how that is more important than any business that I run, any title that I have, any platform that I'm on. Like, that identity piece is something that I'm taking into 2026 and trying to really be reflective of and be intentional with. And if nothing else happens and I have no other like success or, you know, accolades or whatever, like, that's okay, because that's not what makes me me, even though that's what I've made me be in the last 5 years, or actually like 8 years of becoming a mom. I'm like, no, I'm a mom and I'm a wife and I'm all these things. Like, I am those things, thank God, but those are not all of me. And so this year I'm really like leaning into the Lord and also really figuring out and discovering like, what does Chanel like? There's some things about me that have like been buried since becoming a mom. And I am trying to rediscover some of those things. And one of the things that we're doing this year, which is traveling, that is like a huge passion of mine, and exploring and just like discovering new things. And we got a unique opportunity to go travel in the new year. And so I am very excited about that. And I realized how much like it lit a fire in me that I was like, oh, I forgot all about that part of myself. So I'm excited to re-explore and rediscover like the things that Chanel's interested in, and also not tie those things to my identity. But like, those are things that I like to do, but those aren't the things, those don't make me who I am. It just makes me, it's a part of who I am, but it's not who I am, if that makes any sense.
I'm the only mom.
Well, what is Hendrix?
The brother.
Oh. So
This. Rainbow.
look at the finished product. All color coordinated. I am loving it. And I still had a few like open cubes, so I just put some toys there. I just kind of kept the colors in line as best that I could. All right, y'all, so that is the first system, the book system. It is very organized. It should not take us very long to put books back. I am sure, because I have 4 children, this will not stay organized in the color little coding that I have right now, but it is what it is. But it should be very easy to just put books back on the shelves, even if they're not in like color order. The next step here is putting this chair, this armchair, right over here in the corner, so that when we do story time at night, we can read from that corner. Or if we're doing our read alouds during homeschool day, we can do it from that corner. The last system that I want to put in place is just getting the kids' schoolwork organized in their workspace over here, because I've already done a lot of organizing in the closet. Each bin has a very particular subject. So I have a bin for math, I have a bin for reading, language arts, and then I also have a bin for puzzles. I don't really have a ton of stuff for science because we try to make science life sciences. And I do have like globes and things like that, but it doesn't need like its own organization system. And then we're gonna organize our workspace, and then I need to make dinner, because what else would happen but a tornado watch in the middle of winter while I'm trying to reset my house? You know what I mean? So I gotta hurry up and get all that done, and I will share with you the next thing that I've taken away from this year. All right, so let's go into the organization system of this workspace. I did build out this like desk, built-in desk workspace for the kids back at the beginning of the school year, because I wanted them to have like this workspace that they could look out the window, have natural light that comes in, all the things. And I think it's been actually very functional and used a lot, even when we're not doing our work. But I have organized these spaces, and are missing like a few of them. But on one side is Harper, and she has all of her workbooks here, and anything that doesn't fit up here, like her binder, is down here. And I think that's very convenient because it allows her to just sit here and work. When she's done with one of her workbooks, she can put it away and then move on to the next one. This big one here I use for trash, and I've loved this system instead of having like an open trash can, because I can literally just take this, toss it, and move on, and they can, like, it's like not in the way. We don't eat up here, so it doesn't really smell. This is mostly like paper, scraps, things like that. Fitz's stuff is on this side because he's left-handed. Over here, this is just kind of like any signs that we have up on the walls just kind of live here if I need to change them out at all. And then arts, any like arts and crafts and paints are all going in here. So we're gonna take these with us where we're going in the new year, which I haven't shared with you. But one of the lessons that I've learned from this year is less is more. If you fill your space with stuff, I believe that your kids and you really don't have a chance to like enjoy the stuff. And I'm learning more and more about my kids each year and what they're interested in. And of course that changes, but our kids love to color. They love painting, they love crafts. And I think the more I've been able to like hone in on the things that they're interested in, like a few things that they're interested in, the better they get at them. And so I have stopped trying to like push interests on them, like, let's try this. And of course we're gonna like introduce things to our kids, but they get to really dive in deep to the things that they're interested in. And then I get to show them what I'm interested in. So I started to color with them because I love coloring. I just have never prioritized making it something that I do throughout the day. So over Christmas break, I've been coloring with them. I've been really getting my creative flair back that I have lost in this whole depth of motherhood and identity crisis that we already talked about. And next year, what I'm taking away from this lesson is that in the spirit of simplifying, less is more. So less stuff so we can dig in deep to the stuff that we have, being more generous with the stuff that we have and not holding on to it so tightly, aka the identity, but also our physical stuff. So when we have outgrown something and, you know, all 4 of our kids have outgrown it, we can pass it on to another family, and taking care of those things very well. And also like not trying to do everything, which we've done in the past, like trying to have them in every activity, trying to do every single subject all the time. It's just too stressful on everybody. And so I am working on that in 2026 to just simplify, like, how do I combine the learning for all of us in a way that's fun, engaging, and like all encompassing, rather than like bits and pieces and like breaking it apart where it doesn't actually flow well together. So this space is where all of that is taking place, from the more like traditional textbook style, but also lots of arts and crafts is done here. And I'm just really proud of this space that I've been able to kind of just come up with and create on my own. And I'm happy that they found some use with it as well. All right, so I just finished dinner. We do spaghetti every single Sunday. So I just did my Instant Pot spaghetti. If you want me to start making videos about recipes and simplifying my life, including the recipes that we make, let me know in the comments below and I will start filming some of those videos. However, I just finished that, and what my plan is, which I didn't mention in the beginning, was I started the day after Christmas, starting to like declutter and organize the house. And my plan to not overwhelm myself was to do like 2 spaces a day up until the 31st, and then the 31st would be the last day. So I feel like I'm moving pretty well through this. Yesterday I did like the main level minus the kitchen. The only thing left I have to do today is the kids' rooms. And the kids' rooms are probably gonna take me 15 minutes because we've already done a lot of simplifying in there. And that will be the last thing we do for today. We're in the boys' room. And as you can see, we've already done a lot of simplifying here. So it's more about tidying, which honestly is probably pretty pointless right now. But one thing that I didn't tell y'all, here's the reveal. If you don't follow me on Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, you already know this news. But we've already started simplifying here because in approximately 10 days, we are moving to Portugal. Not permanently, but for 3 months. And so really what I'm trying to do in here in the kids' rooms is just like organize their beds and get the clothes out of their closet that I know for sure we're going to take, and keep the clothes that they're going to wear for the next 10 days here. The weather is different in both of these places. It's going to be a little bit warmer there than it is here at this time of year. So it should be easy to just separate, for the most part, what they're going to wear there. So what we're going to do in here is we're just going to tidy the beds, probably vacuum the floor, tidy the beds, and start looking in the closet, which honestly is already pretty empty because I have not put away the laundry yet, because I'm just taking what is going from the laundry to the suitcase, and then whatever is left I'm going to bring back up here. Probably not today though. I'm coming in there now.
My name is Harper, and today we are going to be cleaning my room to make it so nice while I sleep.
Now push the button. Go forward in a straight line, starting against the wall.
Look how nice it is with light on.
Oh, nice. All right, y'all, we have made it to the end of this cleaning day, and I'm feeling very successful. We did our learning room, which is like our homeschool space, and we also did the kids' room, and it just feels so much lighter in here. And obviously, you know, this could totally change in 12 hours when they wake up and they spend some time in these spaces. But for now, it feels like I've created a little bit more of a simple system of like, here, We're putting the books away. We have a space for everything. The kids' rooms are pretty minimal as it is. And now I want to just share with you my biggest lesson from 2025 and how that's going to be impacting me and how I move in 2026. One of the hardest lessons that I had to learn this year was to trust in God and trust his timing and trust his vision. And that was really difficult for me. As I mentioned earlier, when I was going through this whole identity crisis, I was feeling completely overwhelmed, swamped with just 4 kids, and really just feeling like I was underwater. This time last year, I had a newborn. Everybody was sick around the holidays. We ended up in the emergency room. And that was literally how I started my year. And I felt like I was drowning ever since. And the Lord kept telling me what he wanted me to do, and he kept telling me to be near to him. And I felt very near to him because I was so desperate and so tired and so in over my head that I was very close to him at the beginning of the year. And I feel like as the year went on, I just drifted and I started to rely on my own strength, on my own strategy, on my own vision. And let me tell you from experience, like, it is not a good place to be, especially when you're going through this identity crisis of like the Lord removing things from you that you latched onto, that you're passionate about, that literally changed your life and other people's lives. And when that is taken away from you, it's like losing another baby. And thank God I've never had to go through that level of loss before, but this felt very similar to just like, I birthed this business, I birthed this baby of mine, and now it's gone. Not in the sense that like I don't talk to my clients or anything like that, but that season of my life is no longer. And I've grieved that all year. I have tried to hold on to it as long as I could. And now we're at the end of 2025, and I had a conversation with my husband, and he's like, Chanel, like, you're still walking in disobedience. If you have one foot in to this business that the Lord asked you to kind of close shop on, you're still walking in disobedience. And that was very eye-opening for me because I didn't see it that way. I saw it as, well, the Lord gave me this thing and he did tell me to walk away from it, but I still want to like help people and I still want to serve people. And even though my heart was in a good place, it still was an act of disobedience. And my husband was like, he can't bless the vision that he's given you for this next chapter if you can't let go and be obedient for the last chapter that he blessed. And so that was very convicting for me. And so the biggest lesson that I have really taken away from this year is trusting God, trusting what he says that he's going to do, trusting and obeying when he asks you to do something, because this year has been utter turmoil, simply because I feel like, one, life is just happening, of course, but I have been trying to walk in my own strength. And that is literally the weakest place that I have been. This is the year of utter weakness for me, because I was not operating in the supernatural strength in years past that I have, where I was so close to the Lord, so reliant, so in tune. And this year I was simply just saying, Chanel, you got this. Let's go, Chanel, let's go. And like, that's not it. And so moving into 2026, of course, we are spending our first couple of months in Portugal, which I'm so excited, but that was just a reminder of the Lord's goodness and his grace and his mercy, because he knows that this has been something that I've been dreaming about, that's been on my heart for years, like wanting to travel the world, wanting to specifically go and visit Portugal with my family. And he made that happen. Literally, God made that happen. It was nothing that I did, nothing that I deserve, nothing that I even thought was possible, but it is, and he's making that happen. And so I'm super grateful, just a reminder that he is still near. But this year I am leading with the Lord's vision, and I'm leading and following him in all that I do. And I know that that may take me longer to do some things, and sometimes things may just happen suddenly and the blessing just comes, but I'm excited to see what's in store for this next year, walking in obedience. And I am just prayerful and hopeful that as I just start to simplify things, I'll start to be able to enjoy the things that matter the most to me, which is my health, my family, and a deeper relationship with Christ. That is it for today's video. If you enjoyed this, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you are not a part of this family yet. And tomorrow, I'm going to be doing my room and my closet and getting my entire space together, because that's going to be a whole day in itself. So come back for the next part of this series as we are resetting for the new year and simplifying our life so that we can spend time doing the things that actually matter with the people we love the most.